I just picked this up an hour ago and it launches in 9 hours. I think this is going to be the shortest product review I've ever done.
HOBOTECH.
That's a big hose. Here's the power cable. And I destroyed my table. That's wonderful. Okay, got these parts here. This looks like this. Really goes like this. Snaps in there, I'm guessing. Okay. So this is where you connect the hoses to go outside. Hey, hoser. We got some big hoses here. Well, we got a small hose and a big hose. I don't know which one's intake and which one's exhaust. I'm gonna have to guess the bigger one's the intake. That would make sense. See, that's different from the Zero Breeze because that has two hoses the same size. So I'm not going to worry too much about efficiency numbers and putting this so that it blows outside, because when I do a long-term test of this, I will use the hoses and I'll run it out my window and we'll see how much it cools this room down. But since I have such a short period of time, and they didn't send me the battery, they told me this would typically work off of a Delta Pro, but the Delta Pro needs a firmware update before you can hook it up directly. And since I don't have the battery, it kind of defeats the whole portable use. But I want to do a quick demonstration of this product. We'll do a little temperature test. I'll see how much power it pulls from the wall, and we'll see how loud it is. And that's going to be all the information we get before the launch at 6 a.m. Drip hose, I'll have to look up the manual and see what this is for. That's exactly what it looks like. But they says, oh, it doesn't drip, it recirculates the moisture inside. Maybe this is for like really high humidity, that which never happens here in Arizona. Okay, so let's just get on with it. Plug it into the wall, see what happens. And of course, in true EcoFlow fashion, they put the inputs on the side instead of the back or front. That must be an input for the Delta Pro. This looks like might be a solar input. Maybe that's for the internal battery, which I don't have right now. All right, let's plug it in, see what happens. This whole front end is a big, giant evaporator coil. So that's large and in charge. That's some kind of dial. I'm not going to bother to read the instructions. I don't have time. Oh, there we go. We got power. It's blowing something, but there we go. So this is obviously fan speed. Then you can press this button up here for temperature, and it turns this dial into a temperature setting where you can set what temperature you want. I have to figure out how to set this to Fahrenheit. Okay, it says press and hold the temperature button for 3 seconds to change from Fahrenheit to Celsius. There we go. Okay, so 60 is as low as it'll go, and 86 is as high as it'll go. It does have a built-in timer, so you can have it turn off after a certain amount of time. It does have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi built in. I'm not going to demonstrate that today. I can tell you right now, this thing is moving some serious air. You can actually see it's blowing the curtain in the background. It's really pumping. I can feel that's hot. It's definitely making a lot of cooling up here and pumping the heat out the back. And of course, since I don't have it vented, it's just circulating the heat back in the room. But I'm curious how cold this is going to get. Let's go ahead and let this run a couple of minutes, and I'll go ahead and use my laser thermometer thing on this. Okay, this says 53 degrees. I'm guessing that is what the output temperature is. See, because when I use my laser infrared thermometer, that also says 53 degrees. So the air blowing out of this is definitely cold. It's definitely 53 degree air coming out. For those of you that don't know, this is a 4,000 BTU portable air conditioner, and you can hook an external EcoFlow battery to it, and that's what this port down here is for. And the battery sits underneath this, just like the Zero Breeze. So basically, EcoFlow made their own Zero Breeze, but larger, more powerful, and certainly better looking. One thing that surprised me is they didn't put a handle or anything up top. You kind of have to carry it with 2 hands instead of just picking up with 1 hand from the top. This isn't that heavy. I think this is like 45 pounds or so. Okay, so this attachment is for hooking it onto the front and then using a hose to aim the air to a certain location. For example, you can put this outside of a tent. A lot of tents have a little zipper hole for like a pass-through. Well, you can just put this on and put the hose inside, leave the whole air conditioner outside, and cool your tent. This would work great for cooling a tent, although I'm not sure how wet you can actually get this thing. If it's raining overnight or gets moisture, you probably have to at least cover it up or something. Now this unit does have a variable DC compressor, so it's constantly spinning up and down to maintain temperature. So I watched this thing go from about 420 to 480 to 450 to 420. Now it's 465, 470. Here we're coming back up to 480. It seems to be this is about the maximum it's ever going to pull, just around 500 watts. Because once it gets up to this, it kind of starts going back down. See, exactly what I was saying. So how many watts does it use while the compressor is running? I'd say about 450. Even though it varies, I'd say the average, it seems to average around 450 watts, which isn't too bad for a 4,000 BTU unit. Just be aware, this is AC from the wall. This air conditioner is supposed to be powered from a battery or from a Delta product. So it would be powering directly through DC, which would be way more efficient than what you see here. So I'd actually expect that it would use less than 450 watts when it's running off a battery. So apparently you can hook any of the current Delta products, the regular, the Max, the Pro, and the Mini. They all work for this air conditioner. You plug into this port over here on the side. So you can either get an external battery for it, or you can use your existing Delta product to power the air conditioner. Now, just like its competitor, the Zero Breeze, this thing is pretty darn loud.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud. Next, please.
Now, I do have it turned all the way up because I want to see how cold it gets. It dropped to 50 degrees for a short period of time. It's at 51. I think this is about as cold as it's going to get in this environment. This room is about 70 degrees. So the air blowing out is pretty cool. I mean, that would definitely cool you off and pretty quickly if you're in a small building or a tent or even a vehicle. But let's go ahead and turn this down. Let's do some sound tests and just see how loud this thing really is. Okay, so I'm a good solid meter away from the air conditioner, and it's just winding down now because I turned the temperature up to 70 degrees and I have the fan on the lowest setting. So this should be its quietest. So let's see how quiet it can possibly be a meter away. Okay, about 63 decibels at its quiet. So let's go ahead and crank it all the way back up and see how much louder it gets. Okay, the compressor now is ramped all the way up. It takes a couple of minutes for everything to ramp up. It does it slowly, but now it's on max fan and max compressor. So let's see how loud it is now from the same distance. Looks like 65, 66 decibels. Now the manual says less than 55 decibels, but they always measure these things at the lowest possible settings. Most of you will probably be running this at full bore if you're hot. So that's why I give you a measurement both lowest setting and highest setting. So it says here in the book it weighs 38.5 pounds. That feels about right to me picking it up. It's under 40 pounds, so it's not heavy. It's no heavier than one of their smaller solar generators like the EcoFlow Delta. That thing's probably close to 30, 35 pounds. So it's actually a pretty nice unit. It's pretty good looking. It's easy to use. I like this little rotary dial with the numbers on it. Now it doesn't have as many settings as the Zero Breeze, but I thought that was a little bit overrated anyway. They have all these different settings on there. Nighttime mode, eco mode, this mode, that mode. This basically has fan and cooling, and then you can adjust how much cooling and how much fan you want, which I like it simple like that. I don't want to have to go through like 10 different buttons just to turn on a friggin' air conditioner. This does have an app. It does have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So we're gonna go ahead and cover that in a future video. This is about all I want to say about this product for now. This video's got to come out in a few hours. Now, if you're interested in getting one of these, you better snag them up pretty fast because I have a feeling these are going to sell out quickly. This is air conditioning season and a brand new product from EcoFlow. So if you're interested in one of these, you can click the link in the description below or use the link here and QR code at the bottom of the screen. This will take you right to EcoFlow's website where you can go ahead and order one of these right away. Thanks for watching. If you learned something today, don't forget to give me that thumbs up below. And if you're not a subscriber already, you know what to do. That's it for now. Till next time.
Odin commands you to like and subscribe. And clean my litter box.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, I have to do this video tonight too. I have about 3 or 4 hours till bedtime. I have no idea how I'm going to do 2 videos in one night. See you guys tomorrow.
RV Golf Guy, Andrew Von Rupp, Brian Lupers, John Jason Soroka, Dr. Steve Eisenberg.